Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning trading room. Just a moment here, I'll get the screen share going on. I'm feeling a little better. Thanks, Aspen. Aspen's asking how I'm feeling this week. It's a nasty flu virus that's going around this year, no question. And from what I understand, some people catch it more than once. Usually you live through it once and you're okay, but something about this one likes to keep coming back. I'm going to do my best not to cough in your ear this morning. Let's take a look here. I'm following the NASDAQ. I've also got gold and crude oil open. Both of, well, actually all three markets kind of sideways here at the moment. Here's the NASDAQ. You can see Friday's session relatively quiet overall. Really quiet through the overnight. Not a big surprise, and here we are Monday morning. Trade forecasters saying we're in trend mode for 171 minutes to be precise. Well, that would certainly be nice. We'll try to give them a couple minutes here and get their bearings. It is just a couple minutes into the session. We're getting a possible green bar sell here on the hawk. I know there's a lot of new Raptor traders in the room, so let's take a look here what's going on the Raptor. You can see pre-market there were a couple signals, but remember when you're looking at these signals, you got to look at the context, right? When you look at your chart like this, it should be fairly obvious this market is moving sideways. So if you're going to take one of these signals, that's fine, that's all well and good. But do take steps to protect yourself. Dial down your risk, maybe. Maybe look for a second push entry opportunity. I'd certainly recommend going all in, all out on profit. Excuse me. Aspen's asking, what would you do with these ones and twos? Well, these are pre-market, so I'm ignoring them. This one, it's only about 3-4 minutes into the session. I'm never really keen to get into a market super early. Now, it's true sometimes we'll see some really big moves off the opening bell, but the market's open for a long time. We've got 6-7 hours to get our job done. We don't have to go chasing every single signal right out of the gate. Now, that said, one of our owners observed that the first in sync signal on the eagle, and I'm sure this will be true for the other tools as well, but he was focusing on the eagle, how the first in sync signal tends to lead to a profitable position. So here on Friday's trading, you had to wait about an hour and a half for that first signal to develop where everything was in sync. And it developed right here. And you can see it just kissed the profit target. This morning, this would be our first in sync signal. So according to this particular strategy, we should be looking for the NASDAQ to continue to rally, perhaps get up here to Friday's highs, more or less. I'll leave it to you to follow up on the first signals with the other tools, and the Raptor in particular, and it's not difficult to do. Just scroll back through your chart, find where the market opened, find your first signal where everything is in sync, and just make a note of the follow-through. Did it find its profit objective? It did Friday. Let's see here on Thursday. Here's the first in sync signal. It also looks as though it found its profit objective. And on Wednesday, market open here. Here's the first in sync signal right here. And that also, after a little bit of a pullback, got to its profit objective. So it's certainly something worth noting. I've mentioned this before, but trading is a very personal business. I can show you how I do things that may or may not suit the way you do things. Some people can't stand where I place my stops. Okay. Place your stops where you think they should go. After all, it's your money. Some people, think I should be more aggressive on the profit side. Okay, that's what you should do. It's a very personal business there. You should get out of your head that there's only one way to trade profitably. If anybody ever comes to you and says, this is the only way, you should probably smile politely and turn around and walk away. And you've all seen me miss moves in the room as well. It's not like I catch every single move, but I'm not looking to catch every single move. I'm looking to find 2 or 3 or 4 quality trades that I can take and get a reasonable amount of follow-through on, or anticipate a reasonable amount of follow-through. And for me, sometimes that means I got to sit here for 10 or 15 minutes and watch how the market unfolds. Does it have a trend today? Does it look like it's going to move sideways? Is it getting any follow-through on the signals? Aspen says the market's looking a little jittery. I'll show you why. a daily chart, you can see why there's a little hesitation here. We're up against some pretty serious highs in this 5450 region last time, or it wasn't that long ago, a week and a half ago, we hit 5450 and boom, market fell like this. Now I pointed this out the other day, but it is looking as though we're getting a little bit of a expanding type triangle. Why is that significant? Well, these types of formations tend to be a prelude to a reversal. Not always, but sometimes. Sometimes we'll see the market expanding like this, and as it thrashes about, it eventually ends up changing direction. So this is why you see we're getting all this hesitation around the 5450 mark. We hit it 1, 2, 3, well, 3 times, including Monday's trading so far. And then the week before, or a couple weeks before, we nailed it here, and then of course this big reactionary bar there. So the market is showing some sensitivity at that price level, no question. Okay, it does appear as though we are in a full-on bull market again today. Yeah, I think Christian makes a good point here. Christian says the only same rule for all of us is when we don't follow the rules, we lose money. I like to think of it more this way. You've heard me mention the term a good loss. You know, not every signal is going to work out. You can look at the trade, you can say, oh, you know, why did this, let's say we did this number 2 signal, why did this signal not work out? Let's say we set it up like so, the market goes down, starts to reverse, and stops us out. Well, the Raptor system is very good. Unfortunately, it's not 100% good. Therefore, when you get into a trade, excuse me, sorry. Therefore, when you get into a trade, let's say we're short from here now, how you manage this trade is going to have everything to do with whether or not it's going to turn out to be a good trade or not, regardless of whether you make a profit. Now, I know that sounds strange, but let's say you were ultra aggressive. Let's say you recognize that, all right, you got 2 number 2 signals here. It's pre-market. The market opens. It seems to be finding some support. Look at this bar. At one time, this bar was way down here. And yet, now it closes up here. Okay, so let's say you made note of that. A couple bars later, you get another hesitation. The bar was actually down here. Let's say when that bar was down here, you took steps to roll up your stops a little bit or whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that you actually, you know, manage the trade a little bit. Try to take some of the risk out of the equation, and okay, so you ended up getting stopped out. It's going to happen. The fact that you were wrong about the trade is not a bad thing, if that makes sense. If you got into the trade and you overcommitted your position, or you placed your stops too tight, or you managed your stops willy-nilly, that would be more reason to get upset. If you're not acting as a professional, maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Because even the pros lose money from time to time. Okay, so we kind of started on a bullish note. Okay, we might be getting a macro pullback, or some of you will see this as a 4-arrow consolidation as well here on the hawk. And you can see where we topped out 54.55. Just curious, was that enough? Oh, just short of the profit target. Good morning, Gary. Gary's asking, what values do you use on the Raptor for the NASDAQ, crude oil, and gold? I stay with the default values, Gary. In fact, I will stay with the default values as often as possible for any market I'm interested in trading. All right, we might see a number 2 signal develop here and a possible counter trend, maybe. I don't want to get too crazy here. Really beating up that 54.50 area. Aspen's asking, what's the reason for the logic counter bar? Sure, hold on here. The logic counter are these shaded values that you see at the end of the bar. Because the mean Renko bars are a range style bar, it's often useful to know where that bar will finish, especially if we have a signal that's about to print. You know, we get the warning dot, we get the pre-signal. Sometimes it's helpful to know where that bar is going to finish so we can anticipate where we should place our entry. Well, the logic counter allows us to do that. So I can tell you that if this bar finishes bullish, the high of the bar will be 54.51 3/4. If it finishes bearish, the low of the bar will be 54.47 3/4. So it just forecasts what the range for the current bar will be. Gary says, when I opened the template, it went to 4 ticks. Is that the default? No. The default is an 8-tick brick, and you're probably going to need to go to your data series to change that. And the indicator, the Raptor itself, I didn't change any of the values, so that means you're going to have like a 12-tick and an 8-tick cloud and a 6-tick hawk. Those are your default values. When you have it finally set up the way you like it, though, do yourself a favor and save it as a template. So the next time you build the chart or want to load your Raptor, all you have to do is load the template. It saves you a lot of time. Thanks, Keith. Keith says we got a couple economic reports at the top of the hour. The market's fairly balanced overall here. Yeah, we had that little bit of a run up to start. Now the sellers may try to take a turn. We do have a macro pullback here / 4-arrow consolidation. And that's moving into yellow bars, so that's about to get spoiled. We were flashing a red bar there for a second. There we go. There's a red bar buy. Aspen's asking, what does the red bar and the red triangle mean? Well, right now it doesn't mean anything. It's not one of our high probability signals. The Raptor is producing a sell signal. It's saying, okay, well, the parameters are there for a sell. But I would like to see a test to the extreme before I get too crazy about taking a signal like that. So ideally, we'll see a little bit of a hiccup, and then the sellers beat up on the buyers one more time, and that will be a more predictable sell. As we move into the hard edge, we can normally anticipate some sort of reaction. I've mentioned this before as well, but it's worth repeating. Trading is not like a job. You cannot demand anything of the marketplace. If you want to say, I want to earn $500 a day, the only way you can do that is to get a regular job. Because in a regular job, you do the work, you get paid. Right? If you're a lawyer, you produce so many billable hours and you get paid. If you're a carpenter, you install so many windows and doors, you get paid. You're a plumber, you install so many toilets, so many showers, you get paid. Trading is not like that. Trading, you can only take what the market is giving. If the market's not giving, you're not taking. And the temptation is to try to force the market's hand. The temptation is to say, I should sell this. Or, I should buy this. Well, this one actually worked out. But, this is premature. I'm not going to say the market's not going to go lower. I think the market very likely will go lower today. But it's premature to short from here. And what ends up happening for most people is they will, they get anxious, they get fed up, and so they'll set up a trade, and because they don't want to risk up here where they should, they'll put their stops right here, and they'll say, oh no, $450, that's too much. I'll trade 3 contracts. Yeah, I can do that. I can afford 3 contracts because I'm just a little trader, right? I don't want to risk a lot of money. So okay, I can do that. I can risk $50. And what happens is they get brought in and stopped out. Oh, sorry, I was going to trade 3 contracts. Let's do it like this. And what happens is they get brought in and stopped out, and it's like, oh well, I lost $180. Well, I might as well say 200 by the time I tack on my commissions and fees. Oh well, I lost $200. Whereas if you waited, you may have actually avoided the loss and maybe even got yourself into a position where you could take a profitable trade. it's those little losses that tend to add up. People don't notice it so much now anymore, but I'm dating myself a little bit here. But I used to say, if you don't think those little losses add up, take a look at your telephone bill. It used to be before all this nationwide long distance and everything, the phone company would nickel and dime you on long distance calls. And you don't think, oh, all right, well, 10 cents a minute, big deal, right? Or 25 cents a minute to phone across the country, big deal. Then you get your phone bill at the end of the month, and instead of, your regular $20 phone bill, all of a sudden you're looking at a $200 phone bill, and it's like, where did that come from? It's the same in trading. The little stuff adds up. Christian's asking, what does the stop limit ticks do? This allows you to preset your slippage for when you use a stop limit order. It's more useful in a market like crude oil that can be insane. And where you can experience some terrible slippage. Not such a big deal in a market like the NASDAQ, where typically real bad slippage is like 2 ticks. But if you find you're getting, excuse me, if you find you're getting slipped really bad, you can try using a stop limit order. Or I would talk to my broker. I was talking to one fellow, he was getting slipped, I think he said 8 ticks on crude oil. That's a lot. Getting slipped $80 on your fill. That's not right. Now, the broker will probably tell you, sorry, too bad. But it never hurts to ask. Nowadays, where almost everybody is a discount broker, they don't care about your business quite as much as they used to. When you were paying anywhere from $50 to $75 round turn in commissions, they showed you a little bit more respect. But now, when you're paying less than $5 round turn, you don't get a whole lot for your money anymore. All right, so here comes this possible number 2 that I've been waiting for. So we're looking at the test of the extreme right now. Our hawk all in yellow bars, which is what we would anticipate. Our falcon working a possible trend change signal. And for the benefit of you Raptor owners, there's our signal. Oops, I didn't mean to go in with 3. How did that happen? Did I still have that set? Oh, I think I did. Note to self, when you use these buy and sell buttons up here, they will default to the quantity that you had here. And I guess I should have cleared that before I actually did it, but that's all right. Looks like the trade's going to work out okay. So we hit our break even, and I'll have the added bonus of having a runner in play, which is always nice. right, come on. All right, so we hit our first profit target. Hooray for us. Oh, come on, don't stop now. Come on, don't flinch there. Well, we're seeing a little bit of a flinch now here near the low of the day. Low of the morning. And I really, really do not want to see them move too far back on me. Aspen said I did not get a sell on my Raptor. Excuse me. Okay, we're gonna have to take a look at that after the trade closes out here. I don't really want to make any adjustments while this trade is underway. Okay, there we go. Hello. Do I want to go with parabolics already? Give me one more break. Come on, you can do it. You know you want to. If you're not in a trade, Aspen, what you can do in the meantime is you can try to refresh your screen, your F5. I do not recommend doing that while you are in a trade, however, because it's going to reset everything. It's going to kind of muck things up. All right, that's all you get. to see it close here below this 54.33 area. It's going to give us a little bit of elbow room, and probably see the market trying to get down to Friday's lows, which I think were, what, 54.25, something like that. So there's 33. That's what we're going to challenge next. Yeah, down here, 54.27. Oh, if they give it to me. Get away from there. Nope. Oh, wow, they are bouncing all over the place today. Okay, not bad. Lots of volatility coming in. Nice to see a little bit of movement in the marketplace again. Look at this buying spike that went through. That's what held right here and caused the market to bounce up, all that. Okay, well, you know, folks, that was actually a pretty good example this morning of how things should be done. We waited, you know, we had to pick and choose our battles, but then when we had a condition that looked very promising, we were able to get on board. And we realized a nice little profit as a result. All right, so let's take a look here at the Raptor now. Sorry. Okay, so Aspen, are you saying your number 2 signal did not print, or you did not get the triangle hash mark at all? Okay. Yeah, all right. So you got the triangle hash mark, but no number 2. Now, I realize you're a new Raptor owner, so you need to be patient with yourself. We'll go over the settings here first. With your Raptor, the Raptor is a little bit more tweakable than previous versions. About halfway through your Raptor parameters, you have a couple of settings that you can change. You have the signal parameters HE, that's the hard edge, that's for your number 3. Signal, and then below that, signal parameters SE, that's for soft edge, that's your number 2. Your default probably says 1.01. For the NASDAQ, I've changed my default to 1.25. This value here is the sensitivity on determining whether a number 2 signal has printed or not. The lower the value, the more particular it will be about the number 2 parameters. The higher the value, the less particular it will be. So in other words, if this value is higher, you're going to get more number 2 signals. If the value is lower, you're going to get fewer number 2 signals. The value below it, minimum bar retest or setup, has just the opposite effect. When this value is lower, it makes it less sensitive, and when the value is higher, it makes it more sensitive. I wouldn't worry so much about that one. But you may want to dial up your retest sensitivity maybe to 1.25. What that's going to do is it's going to introduce probably printed number 2 signal right there for you. Now, with the Raptor and the prompts, they're here obviously to help you identify the high probability signals. But it's to your advantage to learn how the signals print even without the prompts, because sometimes you're going to be faced with a situation like this where you get a number 2 signal. It's blatantly a number 2 signal. I've been waiting for over half an hour for it to become a number 2 signal. Does the fact that a number 2 not print mean that it's not a number 2 signal? No, of course not. So you still need to, because remember, computers are very black and white. There is no gray with a computer. If the number 2 takes 1 bar too long to print, it will not print a number 2. If the number 3 is 1 tick too far away from the hard edge, it will not print, even though you may look at it and you say, hey, wait a minute, that's a number 3. So you still need to be able to identify the signals on their own. Now, I think by dialing up the sensitivity, you're going to solve the problem. But my point is, you still need to learn to identify the signal. Right? We had a trend out of the open. It was short-lived. The market came down. But we saw the trend struggling all through here, which is why I wasn't crazy about taking the number 3 signal. I showed you the daily chart, how 54, 50, 54, 55, the markets had some serious trouble there. So I was looking for a number 2 to develop. I have my trend, I have my test at the extreme, I have my signal to short. There's my number 2. Whether or not I print a number 2 prompt, that is still a number 2. That is still our counter trend signal. Now in this case, I did get the signal to print, and of course the market fell off. But try to, it's a good exercise to try to identify the signals on your own. It will help. It'll help make you more proficient. All right, well, here we are waiting again. Yeah, Aspen, that's exactly it. Aspen says it's like the old 1, 2, 3. That's precisely what it is. Some people call them 1, 2, 3s. Some people call them M's and W's. Here's the extreme. There's the retest and the failure. And this is what it looks like to the downside. So we get the retest and the failure. This is a very reliable formation. It's showing you a trend. It's showing you the market's inability to maintain the trend. Therefore, you have a pretty good idea which way it should go next. Occasionally, these retests will fudge a little bit. But again, you shouldn't forget what it's showing you. Showing you a market in trend. Showing you a trend that is struggling to continue. Sure, it went higher than the prior high by what? 1 tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks. Hooray, a 3-tick trend. Shows you a market that cannot keep the trend going. Therefore, it should go the other way. So now we had an aggressive move lower, right into our median line, and now we're bouncing up again. Like, what's with that? We've got a market here that cannot make up their minds which way they want to go today. Oops, wrong button. We did produce a first micro-macro cross technically right here. And it looks as though that may have hit its profit objective by now. Yes, it did. First micro-macro cross lower as well here on the hawk. And that exploded and had no trouble finding the profit objective. Looks like they're hunting for the top end again. a nice run up while the NASDAQ was tanking. Right there. This on the Eagle, of course, but would have been similar signals on our other tools. I'm still here. I'm just sitting on my mute button, coughing my lungs out. We're back into the hard edge on our clouds here, both on the Eagle and the Raptor, and you can see everything is just kind of moving sideways at the moment. This whole 5440 area, I think that was pretty influential the other day as well, wasn't it? 5440, 5445, 5450, those are all big numbers possible red bar buy signal here on the hawk now. A little bit of a mess. So we've got red bars with a green buying dot, trying to make a higher swing low, maybe. All right, so we've keeps flashing and then disappearing. So with my handy-dandy logic counter, I know the high will be 54.40.75. The hash mark's going to print 54.41. We don't have a signal yet. I'm just anticipating. Keeps showing up and then disappearing. Come on now. Don't bring me in unless you really mean it. We're spending a lot of time waiting for this one. All right, so here we go. So let's see, 739. And I'm running a fairly deep stop to start. It's just, I don't want to crowd the trade. Ooh, that was a bit of a nasty move. Just making a couple notes here in my journal. Possible first micro macro cross lower, which is not encouraging. I could roll my stops right below here, but you know what? It's only a couple of extra ticks to cover below this low. So I think I will leave my stops where they are for the moment. In hindsight, I should have sold the failure of it. I would have realized my profit objective a little bit more easily. But since when do I do things the easy way? Come on, get up there. So this again off of Friday's lows, or near Friday's lows. We're seeing a little bit of a reaction. I'm trying to get a little bit of capture a little bit of an upside move here. If we can trade above 54.39, 54.40, that would be that would give me a good reason to maybe do something with my stops. Come on, there we go. You can do it. Get up there. Come on. Come on, one more push. Just some very ugly trading. Very sideways overall. Come on. No. Alright, let's go take a look here at the Raptor. Aspen asking, why was the number 3 not formed on the Raptor? I do have one here. Oh yeah, okay. He says now it formed. This is a very, like I say, very sideways kind of market here at the moment. There's our trading range. One thing you need to remember about trading ranges is that buyers tend to buy at the bottom end and sellers tend to sell at the top end. Well, I had my chance. I had my chance right there, and I knew I was going to be in trouble by not taking it. Oh well, we'll see if we can't get that back. Robert's asking, notice the pullback on the Raptor after the number 1. Is it wise to get in ahead of the number 3? Well, my own personal preference is to actually wait for the signal to develop. You know, there's no shortage of ways that you can get into trades, right? You can even do just trend lines and buy and sell trend line breaks if you wanted. But the signals on the Raptor will only produce when all the signal parameters are met. So, to my way of thinking, that's a more reliable way to trade, is to wait for the signal to actually complete and then get on board. So we have a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. We had the red bar buy, which failed. We had the first micro macro cross. The macro pullback got spoiled by the yellow bars. But it looks like you know, the Raptor signals are working out not too bad here, the number 1 and the number 3. Okay, so getting a little bit of reaction now off the primary support line. And they're slowing a little bit again. Looks like crude oil is falling sharply as well. Here's crude oil now on the Raptor. Pretty quiet day overall. You can see we had like the number 2 signal produced right up here as the market tested the overnight highs. And then shortly after the North American Open, we got the signal to sell, and they've been a little reluctant, but making some progress. They keep bouncing here off the primary support. I think what we can anticipate is maybe a little bit of a rally here, maybe even another retrace into the cloud, into the hard edge. It's not looking like we're getting any really clear direction. They started bullish, now they're bearish, and they may turn bullish again. Might be moving into a bit of a sideways trading range. All right, folks, if you have any questions, please ask away. I might have to close up the room here at the top of the hour. My hacking cough is killing me. Absolutely, Aspen asked, does Trade Manager accept sell stop orders? Yes, definitely. So if we place our order, below, that's a sell stop. I think we can anticipate lower prices still. If you are short here from this number 1 or number 3 signal, you may want to hold on. I think the market's got a little bit of room to move here. There they go. A little bit of follow through. Always nice. Well, then that settles it. We are in a bear market today, so look for opportunities to short any rallies. The rally's likely to be short-lived. And there's that chunk of selling going that went through the marketplace. All right, boys and girls. Oh, okay, a sell limit. Yeah, okay, hold on here. Aspen's asking, I used to sell limit order. It didn't work. Okay. Before we close, we'll just go over what these different orders are. A stop order is an order is in place that the market must trade through before the order becomes active. This is kind of like your trigger price. If the market ticks 54.22 quarter, this order becomes a market order and it gets filled at whatever the current trading price is. A stop limit order allows you to set slippage. So I can't see it very well. But this says I've got an order to sell 54.22 half, but I will accept as much as 3 ticks slippage. So I'll sell as far as 54.21 3/4, but no further. This is useful in fast-moving markets. Crude used to be a market where it would be wise to use a stop limit. Gold, some markets will not accept stop limits. It's always changing. So when in doubt, check with your broker. But it's a great way to control slippage. It's not usually an issue with the NASDAQ, so I don't usually worry about it. A market order is the same as hitting your buy and sell market buttons. So even though I've set up to sell 54.22 quarter, as soon as I hit submit, this order will get filled at whatever the current trading price is. The limit order is a limit at what price you are prepared to pay. For that reason, a limit order, if you're going to sell, is always above the market. And if you're going to buy, it's always below the market. So where we are currently, let's say you think the market's going to retrace and you want to sell it if it gets back up here to 54.34 half. You'll sell it. Typically, limit orders, you're able to run tighter stop losses, and that will be your trade right there. If the market does not, see, I can click submit. If the market does not trade to 54.34 half, my order will never be filled. It can be there all day. It will not be filled because this is the limit of what I'm prepared to pay. Limit orders are usually used by people who are interested in trading ranges. You know, if you identify the markets in a trading range, told you, buyers tend to buy down here, sellers tend to sell up here. So they'll do that with limit orders. They'll go in and they'll say, okay, I'll buy on a limit. So if price gets back down here, I'll buy and I'll put my stop loss down there. So price comes down. And you can see how it flinched here? Those were people using limit orders, anticipating that the market would bounce again. And it did a little bit. A lot of times when you do this kind of stuff, you'll scalp out as well. You don't hang on too long. But watch look at what happened when all those buyers got tagged. Well, their stop loss orders were right there. Look what happened to the market. It just went boom to the downside. So those are your basic order types. The vast majority of the time, you will use a stop order or a stop limit order. Limit orders tend to be a little bit more predictive rather than reactive, so I don't use them all that often. All right, gang, I will see you again tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Oh, sorry, Richard. Richard asked, hi, Eric, when will the manual be out for the Raptor, and what is the best way to get up to speed here? I'm just trying to get better over my cold here, and then I'll be spending more time doing the Raptor manual. I don't want to do the recordings like this because, of course, it sounds pretty terrible. The best way to get caught up, excuse me, is to ask questions. And then you can also review the archives at the members area. At the beginning of the year, every Tuesday and Thursday were Raptor-specific sessions. And you can review some of those. The ones you're going to want to pay attention to are the ones that have to do with the signal generation. That's what you want to get proficient at. But please don't be shy about asking while you're in the room here. If you don't understand why, you know, a number 1 or a number 3 or a number 2 signal printed or did not print, please ask. All right, gang, I'll see you tomorrow. Talk to you then. Bye for now.